Aloha all. This is Samana with Unconventional Insights. This is my 21st podcast. We're calling this Building Self-Confidence. So, some of the reasons we lack confidence and we are insecure are we focus too much on others for validation. In meditation, there's a term called comparing mind, where it's a point of suffering if we are looking at other people, either why don't they say something nice to me, or I don't get enough appreciation from them, or looking to see if enough people give you attention means that you are worthy. That is comparing mind. So it is the direction that it is better for you to be your own evaluator and your own self-soother, and also to learn to communicate to others your needs. So don't compare because you're unique and other people don't have a clue anyways. Another reason when feeling insecure is the fear of trying something new or untried. The mind never wants to give up what it isn't familiar with. It wants to stay in control. It wants to have the belief that last time this happened, such and such went down. So why go forward? Why try something new? Again, that keeps fear is always a symptom of being in your mind as opposed to your heart and your awareness. Another reason is no one is around to validate or praise your efforts, that you either isolate yourself or, as I said before, you're not learning how to communicate your needs and what you need from your friends and loved ones. And I'll get into some of that through this podcast. And the last one is not allowing personal praise. I've known people that I think are like super individuals. They're very professional, they're hardworking, they're kind and compassionate, yet they're constantly beating themselves up. They're very hard on themselves. Many people have an inner tape that is very unkind. One of my students this weekend said, if I spoke to others the way I do myself, I wouldn't have any friends. And that was such a vulnerable and beautiful thing that she said that it made me want to hug her. And it also inspired this week's topic for this podcast, because I realized that our insecurities and our beating ourselves up is why we don't have the self-confidence. So we're going to learn how to do this from the bottom up. Now, many people have negative self-talk. It's very hard to get out of their head and accomplish much of anything with this shrew in your head. If you have this constant, insistent judge that is saying you're a screw up, you're never going to get it right, what's the point, don't risk it, always just keeping you down, that critical voice is winning. But I'll tell you, I have also seen when counseling others or teaching them when they've come to workshops, or I've just seen them out in public and listened to them speak. What's more dangerous is when that inner critic that is constantly holding you down is unconscious and you're not aware of it. That is even more harmful. If you think of it as a constant spinning tape off to the side that's in this loop of saying the same negative things over and over, you're never going to be lovable. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to feel secure. You're never going to find true love. Whatever that tape is, it's constantly going while you're talking, while you're sleeping, while you're interacting with others. But when we're not aware of that, that's where it's harmful. What it's doing is this creates behaviors that tape, conscious or unconscious. It creates behaviors that we're not proud of. And we are reactive instead of contemplating what is best for us and acting. So, reaction versus action. So, to remedy that, if you think of a positive affirmation, that every time that negative self-talk comes up, what is a phrase you can use that will soothe your heart and make you feel stronger, make you feel worthy, make you feel that praise you're looking for? If you think of someone that cares deeply for you, your parents, your partner, your best friend, what is it they could say to you? Or when was a time that someone said something to you that just fell to the center of your heart and it made you feel so good about yourself? If you could think back to how that wording was and commit to using that towards yourself every time that negative talk comes up, then it gives you a tool to battle that negative pattern, and it will start to recreate it. Recreate a new pattern, a new behavior that you are proud of. David Garrison and I had our first time in Austin Be a Relationship Architect workshop this weekend. I want to thank the participants. It was small yet mighty. I was very happy we did it, and it was more successful than I ever believed. I figured because he and I were teaching for the first time together, other than a couple of meetups, and it was a brand new topic that we created over 40 hours. It is pure gold. I said to him, let's be patient with ourselves, just like I'm saying to you now. We're going to be kind, and we're going to make notes, and we'll adjust it accordingly. It flowed as if we've taught it for the last 10 years. And we asked our participants for feedback, and with their open hearts and their open minds and their wonderful selves, they wrote some great testimonials. If you want to look on my website, spaluna.com, and see what they wrote. It was very beautiful. But I began the workshop saying, the question is the journey, which I've said this oftentimes, many of you that know me. And it's true. So in this workshop, what we did was we posed many questions. You have a whole contract that you fill out with very core questions that until we have the questions to direct us, we stay stuck. It's like we unclaim, or there's unconscious areas. And we don't go there or do any work. We do our negative communication and we do our negative behaviors, and it just stays in that loop. But once you have the question, you have the good heart and the good mind. And with learning tools, you will learn to transform, because you are searching for the answers. When you find your truth to the questions that are posed to you and you stop and contemplate, this gives you a sense of ease. This gives you a sense of stability. This gives you a sense of confidence. Building this self-confidence is crucial with tools, because the tools help you harness and focus your mind in a direction that we dictate, not that's happening to you. So by looking to see what makes you feel bad or who makes you feel bad, let's start with what. So what makes you feel bad, makes you feel small, makes you feel insignificant, makes you feel unlovable. Notice when that happens, what is the circumstance? What is the series of circumstances, or what are the specific parameters that are making you feel so bad? And notice the moment that you started hurting. And once you notice that, use your tools that I'm offering so you can correct that, so you can gain your confidence. When you question, this is the phrase, is this true? So let's say that negative talk comes up, or someone says something to us that just really hurt us. And we feel it in our heart and we begin to react, or we don't react, but we feel it. You need to ask, is this true? And then you need to allow space to see the answer that arises from it. When we look at if something is true for us in the moment, that contemplation to verify, they call it investigating reality in spiritual terms, it removes the power of the pattern of this negative self-talk. We are often hurt by someone else if they aren't intentionally trying to hurt us, but something they say or do does hurt us. That is usually happening to us because inside we have such a negative view of ourselves, or they hooked into one of those loops, one of those negative tapes that runs all the time. I am not lovable. I am not worthy. I will never make anything of myself. So when someone outside of you says anything close to that, it feels like an amplifier. And it's so intense that it feels like that person hurt you. That was wounding. But in a sense, in a teaching sense, in a spiritual sense, if you could pull that back inside and take responsibility to see, yes, that really hurt me when they said that, and to see what is the negative tape that it hit, that it hurt so bad, and then look to see, is this true? Is it true you're not lovable? Is it true you're never going to be anything? So, those are great things to look at. Now, if you have a person in your life that you feel insecure around, is it because they criticize you and never or rarely praise you? Or are there, because some of the older generations, I'm not giving them a pass here, but I'll tell you, some of the older generations think that they're helping you by pointing out how it could have been done differently or better. And they want you to see how to make it more beneficial so that your life is easier. But what it sounds like to us, feeling wounded, not having that self-confidence, is that we're screwing up. We're never going to be okay. We're never going to be loved. There's something wrong with me. That's what we're hearing. So if you hear me right now and find that this is true for you, what if you said to this person that hurt you without realizing it, if you know they're intentionally not trying to do this, explain to them what's going on inside of yourself and say to them something like, what I really need from you, Mom or Dad, or what I really need from you, my partner or my best friend, is instead of pointing out what I didn't do right, could you say, I know you're going to figure this out. I believe in you. You're a smart cookie. You're lovable. You are worthy. You'll figure this out. You have a good mind and a good heart. Like whatever it is that feels right to you, that brings ease to your heart, that gives you that sense of stability and strength inside. Tell them the phrase to say to you. We are all teaching each other. No one gave us a rule book when we were born. And if you think back to each generation and all of their wounds, and it's carried in our DNA in the womb, and then we already have all of those generations, and then we're born and we start our own karma and our own here and there and circumstances and heartbreak, and all of it goes on, and we're just trying to figure this out. So how about instead of feeling that you're incompetent and not worthy or invisible, you say to the person in your life, if you care about me, this feels easier, this lands easier to me when I feel supported by you. And something like, I know you're going to figure this out. I know you're working hard. I know everything's going to be okay. You are lovable. you are going to find someone worthy of you someday. It is not about you, it's about timing in your life. Whatever it is you need them to say to you so that you feel better. Again, we're all learning on this planet. We all need better communication skills. We all need the confidence to share what we need, what we feel in the moment, and sometimes we have someone in our life that activates our insecurity because we don't get our core needs met. So, our relationships with them are not being met because maybe we don't know what isn't being met. So if we could allow time, regular time, to contemplate what are my core needs, and all the significant relationships in your life that when there is something hurtful or there's a reason you've avoided them or you don't spend as much time with them or you know there's a trigger spot, to learn how to communicate. This is what goes on with me when that happens. And I love it when you do this. I love it when you just take my hand. I love it when you hug me when you come in the house and it's just this long hug as if nothing else is important. Things like that. So you actually have two choices here. One is to figure out what your needs are or how you feel loved, safe, valued, and share that with them. Then perhaps with the request of what you'd like for them. So always give that person a chance of, could you do it this way? This is what I need. If they're unwilling or unable to meet your request, to meet your needs, your second choice is to stop spending time with them or to limit your time with them. Make certain you are in a strong place. I was so exhausted after this great workshop because I chose to go to a concert also. And on Monday was my recharge time. I mean, I did computer work and various things, but I actually knew I felt depleted. But let's just say I felt empty. I wasn't depleted. I was empty and I needed to recharge my batteries. So for me, being an introvert, when I recharge, I like to be alone. My dogs are fine. I don't like conversations with people. I could do emails or texts, but even speaking takes a lot from me. And I returned a phone call to a family member that was calling me on Sunday that I couldn't get back to because I was involved in the workshop all weekend. And we get into a conversation. And I called her back because she wanted me to call. And I knew I'm really depleted. This is not the time to call. But I called anyways. It turns out that I had no reserve, no patience, and I ended up raising my voice to her. And I love her a lot. I just said, I gotta go. Right away she felt bad. Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, this isn't you. I was upset with myself that I raised my voice. And I was more upset with myself that I knew I was empty and I believed that I was responsible to call this person, and I didn't listen to my inner voice. I didn't listen to what I needed. So it backfired. So a couple days later, I call, I apologize. I know I hurt her feelings, and I didn't mean to. And she said, you're allowed to be human. And I said, it's not about being human. It's about, I know myself well enough that if I honor what I need in the moment, then my behavior is always going to be something I'm proud of. So I'm sharing my stuff with you, and hopefully it rings true to you. So where were we? Okay, so be it family, friends, coworkers, always express what is causing your insecurity by explaining a behavior so they see specifically something tangible that you experience from them and how it lands for you. So in these steps, you can make choices to care for yourself. It's better to be alone. This is another thing I've told clients. It's better to be alone and feel you are caring for your own needs, for your own heart, than repeatedly putting yourself in an unsupported environment or circumstance with someone. So if someone isn't able to meet your request after you are conscious of it, it's best to move away or spend minimal time with them, because why keep beating yourself up? So, self-confidence builds as our emotional body or our inner child begins receiving consistent support. And it receives this consistent support, it sees that, okay, things are safe here, this is good. And they begin to make choices that are more conscious and more something we're proud of. When we guard or protect our heart and we're blocking life's experience, this is not a good thing. But when we guard and protect our hearts as if we are the ultimate authority, we are the ultimate inner healthy mother and father caring for our needs, caring for our inner child, then you're going to see a major difference. You're going to feel supported because you are taking charge. You're moving into this position of authority. You're not looking outside of yourself for others' support. So you discern who you spend time with by how they treat you. And the questions to check in will always be after the time you're with someone. Ask yourself, do I feel content, energized, happy? Or do I feel drained, destabilized, angry, or sad? It's as simple as noticing and checking in. What is your energy or what is your being doing when you hang out with them or just after they leave? If it's your best friend, your parent, your lover, whoever it is, how do you feel? And do you feel stronger and ready to take on life after being with them? Do you feel like, I feel recharged, that was incredible, I feel loved, I feel seen? And do these encounters, do they feed you or deplete you? You need to check in and start noticing how your subtle beingness is affected by everyone and everything you're doing. This is how you build self-esteem. The self-esteem is, I feel strong because I know I am showing up, because I will do what it takes to get my needs met by expressing it to someone I care about in a way they can hear it, or by meeting it myself. This is how you build confidence. When we use this refined awareness to notice our energy, you could use it after eating specific foods or drinking and notice how you feel then. I've used this when I do my cleanse talks and my cleanse workshops, that I'll say, notice how the food and drink make you feel. Notice how great you feel after the 5th day of this cleanse that I've created. You start feeling incredible. So for me, my human mantra, my human life mission is, I'm here to experience my ultimate life force to the full capacity of my heart and my mind, and to continue cultivating my awareness through the interactions of everyone and every experience. I'm noticing how it affects my being, and I am acting accordingly. So guard your heart as if you are the keeper, as we visualize this as our precious, all-knowing heart to be a flame. Notice, after an encounter with someone, was your flame dampened? Did they put your fire out? This fire is your inspiration, it's your passion. And also after an encounter with someone, or just a text or a phone call or a brief hug, did that ignite your flame? Did that inspire your passion? And I don't mean sexual. Sexual is good. It's good if that happens. But I'm talking about your heart. Do they add to your heart? Because that is the path. That's the road. There's no question. The details will reveal themselves as you go along. But as long as your heart is full and open like a flower, like a beautiful flower, and you are there showing up, saying, I am there for you, Samana, under all circumstances. I will never leave you. That's what I say to myself. That's my inner child talk. And that gives me confidence. That gives me strength. I know I could handle any experience. But to have a partner or a friend or a family member say that to you, and I gave them that phrase of what really lights me up, there is nothing greater than that, because it was my journey. It was my search for that question, finding the answers to it, that came up with that. So another way to build this confidence, as I have said in all my podcasts, as I do in all of my counseling, is trying new experiences and having new connections. This builds confidence. Everything in life is energy. We all carry a unique footprint, a unique expression, a unique feeling. And when we mix with another person, another place, or another thing, this alchemy continually changes and adapts, and it offers specific feelings, specific insights, teachings, specific soul food and heart food. By taking chances to explore new areas with feelings of depth of the heart or just adventure, it allows us to show up differently than we ever have before. Each new experience offers an opportunity for us to move into it like we never have before, to meet the present circumstance or the person in front of us in a new way, and to see what happens. Now, many people that have a lack of self-confidence do not want to try new things because they're afraid of failure, or they're afraid they're not good enough and it's not going to be a good outcome. So I'm going to tell you on a spiritual level, if you're more attached to the outcome of a goal, that is your expectation. That is a mind state, not a heart and awareness state. We are here to experience sensations, to experience feelings, insight, anything stimulating and life enforcing that's evoked. That's the point. I tell people, join a meetup, be part of a community, part of a church. Ask a coworker to go for a walk at lunch while you eat your sandwiches. Join a dating site and meet for a coffee. There's nothing threatening about that. That's the best way to meet someone. Begin being curious about how all of these new people and new places affects you. Are you enriched and enlivened and exhilarated? And with your partner and loved ones, go to new places. So if these are people that are set in your little tribe, try new experiences with them. Go to new places, eat new foods, and share your experience. Ooh, I love how that tasted. Or that was interesting, that texture. Go do a craft, paint together. Do a sport together. Go on a hike. Be curious of how the heart is activated and the mind is engaged in this new terrain. And both of you are on equal territory. So even if you've been together for 20 years, to do something new keeps you in that beginner's mind, keeps you in that open, curious heart, where you're both sharing it together and look at this and how about that, and I loved how that was. You both get to share in that. So confidence is built by doing. So Nike, just do it. I will always say that. Just do it. Take a leap of faith and do an experiment to see how you feel and felt different before and after something new. And if you view it as failure because you asked this person out or asked for something, can we go to this place, and you were turned down, or whatever happened, notice when your expectation is stronger than your curiosity. Because expectation is, I'm doing this act or asking for this, and this is the exact outcome I'm looking for. That's a mental thing. That's something that's controlled. But if I'm curious, if I ask this person to do this, how they would respond, there's not a sense of rejection. There's nothing that can hurt me because that curiosity, notice how it feels when you're curious about something. It's subtle and it's open and it's wonderful. It's a whole different feeling to stay in that place of curiosity. Remember, we're humans on this planet Earth, which is our classroom. We're here to experience, learn, share, connect, and grow. It is not how many times we fall, it's how quickly we get back up. So every time we feel that there's a failure or something didn't go as we wished, it's not to stop there. It's how quick can I get back up? Be curious and see how you tick. See what fills your heart, what feeds your soul. Notice the areas of your greatest insecurities. Usually, those insecurities are controlled and interwoven with your fears. And the fears are there because it is unmoving, because it stays as if in a box. It is so defined. The mind is so defined. So do one curious, courageous thing each week towards whatever your greatest fear is. If it's in partnership, if it's asking someone out, if it's doing something athletic, if it's pushing yourself somewhere, if it's going to a movie alone that you've never done before, think of what is your greatest fear and do something towards that fear, towards the remedy of that fear, meaning bring curiosity and new experience and new eyes, a new view to that solid tin box of fear, and see what begins to happen. I guarantee that your confidence will begin to build and your fear will begin to dissolve. Do something different. Again, as I said, even if it's with the same person, the same experience, when we view it differently, the whole world is different. It is all a perception. How does everything affect you? Does it deplete you or feed you? The only question you need are, after an encounter, are you a better person because of the experience? What did you learn? How are you changed forever from that person, from that experience? And keep growing and keep amazing yourself. Your confidence is within your grasp. We need to do things and be with others and show up to the best of our ability. We only grow when we take the time to question, contemplate, and notice what has changed in how we feel about something and how it affects us. So I hope this helped you. I hope you all have a great week. It's the week before Thanksgiving. I want to remind you I am available online for insight counseling. I charge $100 an hour or 2 sessions for $150. That's only $75 per. At that point, you could split that. And any comments you ever have about my podcasts or how it lands with you, is it helping you, or ideas for a podcast, please send me an email, Samana, S-A-M-A-N-A, at spaluna, S-P-A-L-U-N-A.com. I am doing an esthetician workshop on December 2nd in South Austin for lash extensions. And it's $400 from 10 to 3, and that is a Monday. And I need $200 deposit for your kits by this Friday. I'm ordering the kits. So contact me if you're interested in that. My phone number is 808-283-7587. And I am doing my Be a Relationship Architect meetup every month And our next one is for December 3rd, and that's in South Austin from 7 to 9 p.m. We do ask for a little donation. And we're going to do that more of like a support group and kind of see what issues people are being challenged with and how we could all give feedback. And I'll give some feedback. And we have 2 hours of community. It's beautiful. For any of you that missed out, our next Be a Relationship workshop will be February 8th and 9th from 10 to 5, and that's $300 a person, or 2 people, a couple or friends, for $500. And that is on my website, as I said, spaluna.com, spaluna.com. And we're going to eat a lot for the holidays, so reminding you of my 30-day detox spiritual reboot programs. I can do that online. That's over 4 weeks. We do 2 FaceTime, Skype, Messenger sessions with full-on tech support. Guaranteed to change your life. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of sign-ups for this in January. I don't have any openings until after the 18th of January, and that right now is $500, but I am going up on that. So contact me if this feels like something you want to do. I'm also doing starting in February, a 7-day in-house detox retreat. So yeah, we have a lot of things, cooking classes and yoga and private counseling sessions and infrared saunas and going to the gym and movement and guided meditations and journaling exercises and so many things that after 7 days you're going to be a new person. So let me know if that interests you. And I always enjoy sharing my insights with you, and if you feel this is of value for anyone that could use it, please share it. And thank you so much, and aloha.